Hi, my name's Kat. Thank you for joining me for this short stretch today. So we're going to be focusing on spinal stretching. So our thoracic spine, which is our upper back, and our lower back as well. We'll be moving it in all directions to try and release the fascia, the connective tissue that hardens over time when we're not mobilizing it enough. If you have any injuries or scoliosis, things like that, please make sure you listen to your body and not push past pain. Discomfort is okay because discomfort generates change. When you have pain in your back during your everyday life, it can be an indication that the muscle fibers are actually weak, and stretching them isn't necessarily what you need, even though it feels like that's what we want. So absolutely still do the stretch, and I hope it gives you some release, but just keeping in mind that if it's an ongoing pain and you don't know the purpose of it, it could be that you just need to strengthen and open up the front of the body, activate the back of the body. I hope that's helped. Starting at the back of your mat, we'll start with some roll downs. So soften into your knees, round the spine, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. This is really nice for the vertebrae in the spine. And then as you roll back up, rounding into the lower back, tucking the tailbone under, coming up one vertebrae at a time, rolling your shoulders back at the top. All right, let's do that again. So keep your feet nice and grounded, round and roll down, rolling back up. Or this time when we come down, we'll stay down. So rolling down. Grab your elbows, really bend into the knees. Just do a little rock from side to side. Relax your face, your jaw, your neck. And then we'll bring the hands down and come into a tabletop position. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and into our cat and cow. So the best thing for the spine is a little bit more activeness sometimes, more than just a stretch. So for our cat and cow, we'll make it more of an active one. So tuck your tailbone under, begin to roll round through the spine one vertebrae at a time. So there's a little bit more intention behind the movement. And then uncurl from the base of the spine, with the shoulders being the last thing to uncurl. Good, and then again, tuck under, engaging into the core to a sit. Push your hands through the earth as you round into the spine. Uncurl from the base. We'll do one more starting at the tailbone. Good, and then we'll start from the neck. So bring your chin down, begin to round into the shoulders. Pushing your hands through the floor, begin to round into the mid-back, all the way down to the tailbone. Then we uncurl from the chin up, which can feel a little funky. So begin to drop into the shoulders, then into the mid-back, and then spreading the sit bones as you do that last again. To drop the head, rounding through the shoulders, mid-back, tailbone, and chin up, dropping into the shoulders, back, and tailbone. And we'll just do one normal one where you round straight away and drop straight away. Good. Then begin to walk your fingers forward, keeping your hips in line with your knees. So our extended child's pose, or puppy pose, we can call it. We bring the forehead down, or if you've got the mobility into your thoracic spine, you may be able to bring your chin and even your chest down towards the floor to deepen. And then scoot all the way forward into a cobra. So to avoid dumping into the lower back, bring a little bit of activeness into your glutes, pushing your pubic bone down, rolling your shoulder blades back, pushing the elbows into the earth. So it's a stretch into the belly and the lower back, but also active strength. And seeing as the neck is part of our spine, our vertebrae, we'll bring the chin down, then towards one shoulder, all the way up towards the sky and around with activeness, back to the other shoulder, and then come through center once more in this direction. And make sure the body is still tense. You're only moving in a way that feels okay for your individual body. So your movement can be a lot smaller if you need it to be. Other way, so chin to shoulder. Around once more. Great, come all the way down. Now bend your elbow out to the side. So it's roughly in line with your shoulder or slightly forward for a little bit deeper. So it's like a cactus position. Lift the opposite arm up and come around. So this is an amazing chest stretch, but it's also awesome for the spine, for the lower back. So you may be able to bring your foot to the floor depending on your chest flexibility. Or if it hovers, that's okay too. Any pain, you can always straighten your arm out to the side instead, which is less of a chest stretch, and you can focus more on the spine. I love this. This is one of my favorites. This is Scorpion. And then we come through center and go over to the other side. So your head can rest down on the floor if that feels okay. I have a lot more flexibility in this side, so my foot's coming to the floor. So deep breathing to tell the body it's okay to be here. And coming back onto your belly, push all the way back into a child's pose. So knees wide, big toes together. And this one, it's going to be a little bit more active than just a stretch. So come up onto your fingertips and push your chest down and bring your chin up. So you'll feel this in between the shoulder blades, possibly, if you're like me, where I have a little bit of kyphosis or rounding of the upper back. You'll feel this one. And then you can drop the forehead down and relax the hands down. And then bring the knees together and bring your arms down by your side, forehead to the floor. It's a traditional child's pose, but it's also really nice for the spine and the neck to have that forehead pushing into the earth without the arms protecting it. So if you've got forward head posture like I do, this one's really, really nice. Right, and then coming back up, bring the legs around. And usually when we have stuff going on with our lower back, it can relate to tight hips. So a good way to get a good stretch there is if you bring one foot up onto your thigh and then lean forward. If that's too intense, just stay cross-legged. And if that's too intense, have one leg out and one leg over. So just finding what's going to work for you. Lean into it. If you feel quite comfortable, you may even be able to put your forehead all the way down. And then come up, lean to one side, and feel that stretch all the way down the side of the body. And then rotate your body towards the floor so then you can feel it into your lower back a little bit more. And come back up. And we'll go over to the other side. So to get our fascia, all the connective tissue around the body, lubricated and moving properly, we've got to move our bodies in all directions because we live so much of our life in the sagittal plane, which is forward and back. So let's twist towards the floor. So twisting and side bending in every direction you can think of is super important. And opening back up to that side stretch and come all the way back up. And we'll do that with the legs the other way as well. And over to the side. You don't have to be all the way down on the elbow if that's not accessible. If your hips lifting or your sit bones lifting, then come higher in the body instead of compromising there. Rotate towards the floor. Opening back up and over to the other side. And rotate. Open back up and all the way up. Good. Let's come down onto your back and straight into our Apanasana, or hugging the knees into the belly. And then when you keep your knees hugged in, but try and massage your lower back into the floor. This is actually really good for digestion, not just the lower back. And then go back the other way. And then flex your feet up towards the sky and try and flatten your spine. So you push your tailbone down and shoulders down, lengthening the spine as much as you can. Also working into those hip flexors. Good. And then hug one knee in, extend the other one, pull it across your body and reach behind. So this is nice for the glutes, the belly, the back, and the opening of the chest too. So try and keep your shoulder down and then put a little bit of pressure into your knee to twist the hips up and over as much as you can. Turning your head away. Come through. And other side. Hug your knee in nice and tight. Twist. And coming back to center, bring the feet as wide as your mat. I like to have my arms in a cactus position, so it's nice for the chest, but they can be anywhere that you like. And this is really nice for lower back pain as well, to mobilize through the hip area. And then bring the legs down to one side. Your bottom foot can come up onto that top knee to deepen the stretch into your lower back and your hip. Sometimes you may even feel it in your belly. as well. And then over to the other side. It's okay if your knee doesn't go anywhere near the floor either. Good, and then coming back up. There's one more stretch that I forgot. I don't want to forget it. It's our thread the needle. So open up and then bring your shoulder down to the ground and try and push onto the back of the shoulder so you feel that stretch all the way up the back of the shoulder. So for your thoracic spine. And then we'll do the other side as well. So it's always good to twist first to get that opening, and then bring your head and the back of the shoulder down, stretching out the traps, trapezius. Good, and release. And then interlace your hands behind, open up the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and shake it out. I hope you feel a little bit looser after that.